guys, and welcome to another episode of our ArchiCAD tutorial training. My name is ArchiCAD, and today we are going to be looking at modeling basics. That's to say, basics of modeling. So under this topic, we are going to be, explaining walls, slabs, beams, columns, roofs, meshes, shells, basic tools. So if you don't know how to launch an ArchiCAD interface, you can check out my previous video, the very first one, introduction to ArchiCAD. So that's so you can follow along up to this point. And if you have any unclarity or anything you'd like me to point out while during the course of this tutorial, I'd strongly advise that you write them down clearly in the comment section. But first, before you do that, make sure you watch this video more than once so you can understand properly. Alright, if I am going through the comment section and I see your question, I will reply you however I see fit. Maybe I could make a full-blown tutorial to attend to your questions, or I could reply you on the comment section or privately via email. Regardless, your understanding is my topmost priority. Without wasting much of your time, let's go to what we have for today. If this is your first time coming across my video, hit that subscribe button and share this to as many friends as possible, those you think will need to upgrade their ArchiCAD skill. Alright, so far we've looked into the introductory aspects. We've looked into basic drafting tools, and now we are moving over to basic modeling tools. In other words, modeling basics. So the first on our list of modeling basics is the walls. You will agree with me that ArchiCAD is an architectural software basically, but other allied professions like engineering, electrical, mechanical, they also use ArchiCAD because, like I said earlier, they are allied professions. But the bone of contention, the backbone behind this software is architecture, and architecture is not possible without the use of walls. Yeah, every structure needs a skeleton. Yeah, and for a building a structure cannot be regarded as a building if there are no walls. I hope you are following. So now, before we start drawing a building, or before we start designing, we have to understand how to set our walls properly, so that you don't just put anything anywhere and be hoping for magic in the outcome. It doesn't work that way. I actually had a student that was thinking that ArchiCAD does magic because they've been used to AutoCAD and the 2D working interface. So when they see me producing results with ArchiCAD, initially they think that or they thought that I don't need to do any work. I just need to do the 2D, and then ArchiCAD will automatically generate everything else as per AI. It was so funny. Not until when he came for proper tutorials and I was guiding him step by step on how to yield the results that he has been seeing me consistently produce, and then he was like, "Oh, so ArchiCAD doesn't automatically generate things for you?" I said, "Oh, is that what you were thinking?" And he said, "That's it though." So I said, "Now you know." So you don't just expect ArchiCAD to understand your mind or to read your mind and produce and give you exactly what you are thinking about. You have to input in the settings and make sure that it is according to what you want. All right, enough of the chit chat. We know where our toolbar is, which is at our left. This is our toolbox. So toolbar or toolbox, the same thing. And this is our ribbon, which has tabs, and these tabs alternates based on the active command. I explained this in our previous video, so go check it out. If I click right now, it's on the arrow tool, so we see there are less commands in the ribbon. If I click on the word tool, you notice that a list of other options has appeared for us to customize. So now that we've seen this, we have to the basic commands are the ones you see on this when you scroll. When you use your middle mouse button, just scroll it down or up, you see those are the basic tools. But then if you want advanced settings for the walls, you have to click on this icon here, settings dialog, or Ctrl T, any of it. Ctrl T is kind of like a shortcut in case you don't want to, you're in the middle of construction or drawing and then you don't want to go clicking so much. You just press Ctrl T and it takes you to the settings. So with that, you can customize your wall properly. Initially it used to be here, and the thickness used to be 300 and so on and so forth, and this doesn't always be checked when you set it to default. So that's the default. This is how it is on default. But then when you come to your ArchiCAD, when you click on the walls, you click on that settings. Make sure that you set your wall to structure basic composite structure. This is structure, yeah, this structure. Then there are different types of walls here. So this is the type of wall we are going to be using, the first one here. Now set your fill type, build material fill type. Make sure it is set to masonry structural. That's if you are using structural block work. Then your thickness, you have to understand the thickness of the block you are using. So if you are using 9 inches block, which is generally 2 to 5, if you are using 6 inches block, which is generally 150, if you are using 5 inches, which is 125, if you are using 4 inches, it's 100, and so on and so forth. You have to know the metric equivalent or the metric equivalent of the imperial units. So imperial units are being used on site. I talked about metric and imperial units in one of our previous videos when we were talking about project units and settings. So please feel free to check it out so you can understand what we are saying right now. You can do that after this video, or you can pause this video and go check it out, then you come back and continue. However it is, I'm going to make sure I carry you along so that it doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make so much of difference. So now we are going to be starting with a basic bungalow, just a simple, let's say 2-bedroom bungalow. You have to see a parlor, a kitchen, a dining, and 2 rooms. So that's what we are going to be doing. And for that structure, we will be needing just 6 inches blocks, which is the metric equivalent is 150 millimeters. So before, just a quick recap before we proceed. Imperial units are feet, inches, and means the rest of it. But metric is millimeters, decimeters, centimeters, meters, kilometers, and the rest of it. So now setting that to 150 and making sure that our ground level is set to DPC and a top level is ceiling. We are going to be going to that level settings very soon. Now make sure you set your materials to what you want. That's the first box, geometry and positioning. Then you move to model. Set your materials to what you want. You can set them individually if you want distinct materials, and I'll show you. Here is one side, here is the other side, here is the other side, because there are 3 surfaces. ArchiCAD sees 3 surfaces to every wall: the front, the back, then the top and bottom is regarded as one surface. That is why you see 3 surfaces here. So this is probably the front, this is probably the top and bottom, and this is the side, either of which, but you just check through. Well, if you don't want to set distinct materials for those, you can just link the 3 materials, because we know that it's walls. So if you click on this chain here, it's going to use the first material you set and apply it to the rest of the materials. So that's it. I always like linking the materials, so I don't go about setting each individual surface field, except I want to achieve a different effect on a particular area. That's where I unlink that area to set the material. I hope I made myself clear. Now also don't forget to check this box, because it's going to affect you while drawing. If you don't check this box, when 2 surfaces collide, when 2 surfaces and 2 walls join, let's use that word. When 2 walls join, the back, the other side, or should I say the adjacent of those intersection, is going to be a different material if you don't link both of them here. I'll explain it better, because most people face that challenge. I'll explain it one after the other. So now I think that's basics, and that's probably everything about walls. Just watch this and make sure that you replicate it in your settings. So these for 6 inches blocks, and the rest of it. Then I'll explain this and this very soon. So click OK, and you have, make sure that, okay, sorry, forgot, this is your aligning tool, so it's aligning at the edge there. Now also make sure that your align is either outside, center, or inside, depending on what you want. I prefer inside, because our dimensions is going to be into in, so I prefer inside. So now while it is inside, let's first of all draw a room box. So I will draw a room box. My room is 3,600. That's the equivalent for 12 feet. 3,600. That's one wall. 3,600. Click. 3,600. Click. And I join. This is my wall for a room. This is an enclosed space. So if you click on the 3D is here, you will notice that we've drawn a box there. That's our room. So you want to orbit round. If you want to orbit round, you will click on your screen and click on orbit. Then you can orbit round. Just click and drag, left click and drag around your screen to see what you've done. Okay, so back to our DPC level. Now remember why it is named DPC. I already explained in our previous videos. So please go and check it out when we are talking about setting your working environment, project units and settings. So I made explanation for all these things. Now let's centralize this thing we drew. Right click, move, drag it. So let's say here, because I want to position my rooms by my left. So now we have one room box, and I think I need to draw the WC this way. So I want to make it ensuite. So let's drag this wall, or make a copy of this wall at a distance that is 1500 from this one, center to in to in. So don't forget. Now if I want to make a copy of this wall, I'll just select the wall and right click. I will then go to move and go to drag a copy, or I can press Ctrl Shift D. So as I have clicked it, you notice that there's a plus sign beside my arrow, or at the bottom of my arrow. That means if I should take it from any point now to a new point, it's going to leave an original version, while it's going to have a new version at that point where I click. So first of all, you can click on anywhere. It's not necessary that you click on the point here, but for clarity's sake, you can just click on the point there. But I prefer to click on anywhere on the screen, and then from that point to the new point, I want it to be 1500 from the inside here to the new inside there. So in that case, I'll need to add the wall thickness. So that means it's going to be 1615, because the wall thickness is 150. So I press enter. Now you see that if I should measure this from this point to this point, if I should measure from this point to this point, you will notice that it is 1500, which is what I intended to do. So let's do that. If you want to measure, I'm not talking about dimension. We talked about dimension in our previous videos. So, but now if you want to measure, you can just click on this tool here, or you type M on your keyboard. So when you click on this tool, it gives you the option to temporarily measure. As you can see, from there to there, we have 1500, which is very perfect. But then if you want to do dimensioning, you can just click on this first point, click on the second point, and then you have your dimension 1500. But it's not time for dimensioning yet, so that's why we are using measure. Alright, so let's continue. We want to join the back of this room, also the front of this room. So let's do that. You click on, select this wall, select the two walls. There are two ways. It's either you select this wall and click on this point to drag it to the new point, or you click on this wall and hold shift, click on this wall, then you go and click on the intersect command. So if you click on that intersect icon, it joins up the two walls perfectly. So see that. Now we have had that, we can do same for here. We select the two walls and intersect. Alright, so we've had our toilet space and room space. Let's replicate the same thing at this other side, because remember I said that we are going to draw 2-bedroom bungalow. So if I need the same thing over here, I just need to replicate these two walls. So to do that, I will highlight the two walls and mirror it to the other side. Now if I want to mirror, I can just select, after selecting the walls, I'll just right click on the screen, go to that move option and say mirror a copy, not mirror. Mirror will flip the whole of this to the other side and take away the original, but I need the original syntax. So move mirror a copy, or Ctrl Shift N. Let's look at it. Control Shift N. So if you don't want to go through the long process, you just Control Shift N. Maybe subsequently I'll just write a list of all the commands in ArchiCAD, so you can be doing it, you can be practicing it, so you don't have to be clicking every time. So Control Shift M, you look for a mirror line, you establish a mirror line. Now if I want to be replicating these two things at equidistance from the center point in the opposite direction, I need to find a center point that will make sure that what I am mirroring is the exact of here. So if I should use this for center point, it's going to subtract minus 150 from the mirrored part. So I'll have to go to the center of this wall to do that. But I don't have the center of this wall yet. So let me use major to find the center. So I pressed N and my arrow, my command has become the major command. So you just click on the first point there, and the middle of 150 is 75. I'm taking the middle of 16 block. So you just type 75, enter, and then you are at the center point. So the center point of the wall. So let's create a reference line in that place so that we can use it as our mirror line. So for you to do that, you don't have to come out from this major tool. Just move in any direction of the screen. So today I'll be moving this way or this way, but ensure that it is in a straight line. So if it's in a straight line without this way or this way, you can then right click on your screen. Note we are still in the major command. Right click on your screen and then you click on place snap guideline. So I place snap guideline. So we have a reference guideline. It's temporal though, because we are in major. So it's temporal, so we can now right click and say enter. So now that we have that, we can then use it as our mirror point. Let's select our mirror command point up. So select those two walls and right click, mirror a copy, then make sure that you see what I did. So I've now mirrored the fifth version of these two walls at equal distance to the other side based on my mirror line. I hope we are all following. So now that we've done that, you can join the perpendicular walls. So we don't need to go joining this one first before this one. You can just join this one to the last one and we are good to go. So we select all the walls that are involved. 1, hold your shift key, 2 and 3. So having selected them, you just click on intersect. So all intersect. As you can see, it's all good. Now that we have our two rooms, we want to demarcate the kitchen, dining, and parlor. So let's assume that the kitchen is at this point and our parlor should be at this point, and we'll have a veranda. So from wherever area we want to begin from, we could, but let's begin from the back because I need a straight back and we need to fancy the front a little. So a straight back, we need to make this, we need to drag a copy of this wall at, let's say, 10 feet from this one. So the 10 feet is basically 3 meters. 3 meters at that range. 3.05 meters, something like that. So let's take 10 meters from here. With the wall selected, you right click go to grab a copy. So I am going to drag a copy of it at 3 meters from the original point. Now always note that if you want to drag 3 meters from the original point and you want the internal dimensions to be what you are imagining, which is 3 meters, make sure that you include the wall thickness in your offsetting distance. So while I want to type the distance with the internal dimension in mind, I will know that what I'm going to type, or what I should be typing, is 3,150, not 3,000, not just 3,000. So with that being done, the internal dimension is properly 3,000. So if you take your major tool and check it, you will notice that we are on track. So that's it. Now we've done that, we want our kitchen to be covered here. So I will select this and select this with my shift in place. So I had to reduce that because ArchiCAD, when you want to apply the intersect command, it intersects to the longer part, to the longer wall. So if this was longer and I clicked on intersect, it was going to go intersect this way instead of that way. So but now that I took it closer, if I am clicking intersect, it's going to intersect in the direction of the longer wall. So I hope that explains itself. Now that we've had that, we can then have the last element of our design, which is the dining and parlor. So how do we place it? So I need a store here or a store here, anywhere. So let's imagine a dining here, a lobby here, and a living room this way. So let's make a space for a lobby. So I will mirror this part at 600 from the original position. Mirror copy. I was supposed to use measure 600 from here. 600. Note that irrespective of the command that you are in, you could use measure. But then if you wish to just mirror it from any point, then adjust it to what you want. It's still fine. So I am mirroring it at any point I want. Then I want to adjust it to be probably 1.2 meters from the other one internally. So I click on Ctrl Shift D. Okay, Ctrl D. That's 1 meter and 1 something and 1 unit. So first of all, the remaining unit that is left is it should be 200 millimeters, but because of that 1 unit is 199 millimeters, so I just at 199. And then with this we have a total internal dimension of 1.2 meters. So if you check, you will see. I'm taking my time to explain this so that you will understand. Most people go through the stress of importing drawings from AutoCAD or from other 2D softwares before they can model it in Revit, which is a very before they can model it in ArchiCAD, which is a very stressful process. So with this, when you have this at your fingertips, all modeling process becomes very seamless and easy. So okay, with that being said, let's go ahead and close this lobby because we are going to be shining a window. We are going to be placing a window light at this point. So now we have our lobby and kitchen. I want to just increase this wall. Sorry, I want to make sure it's straight. I want to just increase this wall. Now I will make sure that I have a wall that is 4,200 from this particular one. So first of all, let me mirror a copy of this wall just at that point. Control Shift M, that's for mirror a copy. So I'm mirroring a copy directly at that point, and I'll drag that new copy 4.2 meters from the original point. So Control D, drag it, type 4.2. So Control D, I click on it and type 4.2 and it establishes at new position. Then I'm good. Alright, so that is it. And then let's look for where we will have our dining and this. Alright, so first of all, let's consider the back. The space for the veranda that we need is just 1.2 meters. So with the back wall selected, I use Ctrl Shift D, make a copy of it 1350 mm from the original point. I hold Shift, select the right wall, and I click on intersect. So we have that, and I can now reduce this to this point. Now note that if you have a wall like this, you could use the cut or the trim tool to trim it. If it trims once, and so you have to click it again and click on it, or you could just hold your control key. As soon as you hold your control key, anything you click on will trim. So that's a shortcut I just taught you. Now we can make this little space the exit veranda. So let's just select two perpendicular walls and intersect them. We could use this space for our dining, and also we need a veranda, so we'll have to create a veranda at this point. So the veranda should also be 1,200 from this, or can make it 1,500 depending on what you feel is okay. So Ctrl Shift D, I drag a copy 1350, and then I intersect it with the perpendicular wall. Now that we have an intersecting wall, I could reduce this to this point, or I could leave it a little bit extruded for elevation purpose. So if I should extend it by I actually don't know. Okay, the original position is 6,600. If I should add 600, it's going to be somewhere there. So 600 plus this is going to be 7,200. If I add, okay, so now plus the block thickness there to be 150, so it's 7,350. I don't know if you understand the maths I just did there. I'm adding extra 600 from the end of the wall to this point. That is why I had that total video. So now let's say the whole of here is our veranda. So let's close up this point. So you select the two perpendicular walls and click on intersect. You now have a simple plan. Let's check if this can accommodate the dining comfortably. So major tool, click on the first point, click on the second point. So this is 2.4, which could work, but I'd rather give that 2.4 to the kitchen than the dining. because this is just a 2-bedroom bungalow, nothing really serious. So let me make, right now the kitchen is 3 meters, so let me make it 2.4. So that means I'll be moving this wall by 600. So Control D, 600. Alright, so I will adjust this and this. But leave it like that, it doesn't really matter. So with that being said, we can be having our store at this point. So we can have the entrance to the kitchen here, entrance to the room here, and a store comfortably at this point. So let's cut this. Hold your control, delete that. Also this, hold your control, delete that. And we have, okay. Also let's have some space here, so we can have the entrance to these rooms at this point instead of facing the lobby. So it gives us that feeling of more, gives us a feeling of a little more privacy inside the lobby, so that anyone in the lobby cannot just face the rooms or access the rooms at will. You know, this is a small building, it's not like it's luxurious. So let's do that. Just a little space, enough to accommodate the door. That should be 900 door plus 150 block work. That should be 1050. So that's it. So let's reduce the walls to where it should end, because we don't need extra space. The extra spaces, we want to use it for a large toilet and bathroom, or let's say ensuite. So now let's take out this. So you can see we have just enough space for 2 doors into the rooms, and then this area is toilet and bathroom for them. And we can have our wardrobe just by the corner, and then we have a store here, we have a kitchen, we have a dining. Isn't that beautiful? So we have, a veranda here, we have a living room here. With that being said, we've drawn our walls. This is quite interesting. We didn't take so much time and we've drawn the walls. Okay, before we call it a day, I would like to show you, how it looks like in the 3D. So this is how it looks like in the 3D. This is our walls. Remember, we are in perspective view. The perspective view is, you go to the project map. This is the perspective view. That's where we are right now. If you click on axonometry, it brings up the drawing in an axonometry view. Alright, so this is all we have for our walls. You could check if you started from the base or from just a particular level. So as you can see on our workspace, this is the south elevation. You can see that this is that one wall I said we wanted to use for a facade element. Now the walls, the total wall started from my DPC instead of the natural ground level. See, it ended at ceiling level and left the roof level. So in our next class, I am going to show you how to adjust this to the base level, take it up to the ceiling level, while I show you how to introduce other elements and proceed with the rest of the subtopics in this module. I hope you learned something today, and I don't want this particular session to be very lengthy. That is why we have to call it a day for now. So if there is anything you don't understand, first and foremost, watch this video. If you've watched this video twice and you yet still don't understand, then package your question, type it in the comment section, and wait for me to come across it. When I come across it, I will look for a way that is seen fit to reply you. Also, you could email me with the email link on this channel at gpt.@gmail.com. Alright, I'll be very glad to respond to you. Check out our previous videos to get yourself up to date, and if you've not subscribed, please ensure that you do so, else you are going to miss out on a whole lot. It is not just ArchiCAD we are going to be teaching. We have other software that we are going to teach, and the way I teach is that I make sure that I carry everyone along. I make sure that you understand to the core. So if you don't subscribe to get updates, you will be left behind, and there's nothing I can do about it. So hit that subscribe button now. Also, if you have friends, relatives, colleagues, seniors, and the rest of them that you feel they need an upgrade in their BIM skill, share this video to them. Probably you could just share the channel link to them and encourage them to subscribe. Alright, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.